No, Vlad Sidorenko is a journalist who's joining us from Kiev. I think one of the things that's coming through clearly is that Zelensky has taken a very, for want of a better phrase, a very maximalist position that there's no question of giving up even an inch of territory. How does one contemplate some kind of a negotiated settlement when parts of Donetsk, Luhansk, even Zaporizhia and Kherson, of course, there's a lot of fighting that's been going on over the last few weeks, but these are areas where largely Russia, you can debate for a long time about the nature of those referenda, but those referenda got carried out and Russia annexed those areas. So how does one square off this position that we're not going to give up an inch of territory? In fact, Zelensky is saying that even Crimea is on the table. Surely you don't expect the Russian side to come to the negotiating table if this is the position taken by the Ukrainian president?
It's a very interesting question, but I should say that there is no complex analytics or political science here in this question, I believe. And that's why everyone needs to be honest with themselves, I think. Politicians around the world must be honest with their peoples. And there are 2 points that need to be told truthfully to call a spade, First one, the new Hitler, I mean President Putin, unleashed the biggest war on the European continent since 1945. The world was silent when this new Hitler did it in Chechnya, when he did it in Georgia in 2008, in Crimea and Donbass in 2014. World silence on the arrogant and absolutely cynical violation of international law gave rise to confidence in totally impunity. We know all this well from the history of 1938, when the world bashfully sold Czechoslovakia to Hitler. Then war crime in Poland in 1939 plunged the world into chaos. Look, the world is doing the same thing right now. And the second thing, the world's leading countries and their politicians must be honest that Ukraine, which possessed the third world's largest nuclear weapons arsenal under the guarantee of world superpowers, having supported international law, got rid of these weapons. The whole planet is now looking at a situation where instead of guaranteed security, we got betrayal. We got the biggest war since 1945. All the countries of the planet Earth look at the fact that nuclear weapons are the only guarantee of security, and no international treaties are more reliable than the atomic bomb in service with the army. Answer honestly to yourselves. What the world will do by looking at the largest country in Europe, Ukraine, when 50 or 60 countries receive atomic weapons? When will they also realize that the world order no longer exists?
Okay, let me now go on to, with your permission, let me go on to Dr. Raymond Vickery. Okay.
And second point, which I want to discuss with you, Vladimir Zelensky, he is not an independent figure. He's a his politician who was appointed to this position by the Western influence. Mm-hmm. That's why this war is not a war. First of all, it's special military operation of Russian government to save Russian-speaking population of Ukraine, eastern part of Ukraine.
I just want you to understand very clearly thing. This question and this, if we accept it, it will bring the third world nuclear war. Absolutely. This man, I think he's from Russia. I guess his name is Mr. Goebbels in our... Now I just hear him, yeah? So, Russian narratives about some territories, it's in 1991, the world accepted international borders. It was in 1991. After 30 years, the new Hitler launched the biggest war since 1945. We already seen it in 1938, in 1939, and we have the same. I have a question to Indian authority, to Indians and the whole world. One simple question. What world should do when everybody realizes that the world order no longer exists? There is no more international law. I just repeat, in 1991, the world accepted international borders. And answer me, please. What would be the historical responsibility of such great powers and countries as India, as China? And for Indians, you have a border with China. You have a border with Pakistan, with nuclear bomb. Yeah? And what should do the biggest democracy, India, when the international law that is ruined by this new Hitler Putin now, he's ruined it.
Okay.
What India should do in this case, not listen this Mr. Goebbels, just he's sitting from the right side.
Okay.
From me. Yeah, it's the Goebbels, Dr. Goebbels in 30s of 20th century said the same things. Jews, Austrians, Czechoslovaks, we already seen it 70 years ago. You hear it? 70 years ago, we've seen it.
Okay,
And
look,
now
Mr.
the
Sидorенko,
Russians,
I don't think anyone
the new
wants to go
Russians
back
do
into
the
the
same
past
thing.
and go into the Second World War and so on. What we're interested in is in the here and now and how we can find a peaceful solution. So I'll give the final word to Dr. Sergei Dvorinov.